Hey everybody, ronarray here, and economy in Path of Exile 2 in a pretty difficult position right now. However, there are a lot of ways how you can make currency. So in this video, I wanted to share my way to farm breaches and how I'm making divines in them. I'm going to explain how exactly I'm juicing my breaches, what brings in the most profit, and how you can do that too. Let's go. So let's start with the main question. How exactly you should juice your breaches for them to be as profitable as possible. And here Atlas 3 is coming into play. Perfectly to juice breaches you will need to have maximum amount of points, so 8 out of 8. To receive it, you will need to kill the boss at the end of the Breachstone. And you will receive a book every time when you are killing it with +1 more difficulty, reaching difficulty level 4 at the last fight, and you will be able to get all the points that way. However, if you have 6 or even 4 points, the strategy is still playable, but with no points at all, it will be significantly harder. So here is my breach tree and what exactly I'm picking there. So generally, in my opinion, the most important part is Rising Pyre, because it gives you 40% increased monster density in your breaches, together with Frantic Invasion, which is going to give you 75% quantity of breach splinters dropped by breach monsters in your maps. But there's a little debuff, so players take 20% increased damage from breach monsters in your maps too, so make sure that your build is strong enough. However, if you have 4 points, I recommend to go for Frantic Invasion and Rising Pyre right here, because those two are the most important in the whole tree, and you will be able to play the strategy if you have those 2 points. If you have next two, I recommend to take Grasping Hands, because Grasping Clasp Hand will have a chance to be guarded by a pack of magic monsters, and there will be more Clasp Hands overall. A Clasp Hands dropping loot, so it's pretty important. And the last 2 points are pretty random. I think there's a lot of options how you can spend them. So one of the options is Crumbling Walls. It gives you additional chance to contain additional breach in your map, 15 with +1, 5 with +3, and 2% chance to contain 10 additional breaches, which is absolutely insane. However, I feel like Crumbling Walls are not really proccing that often, so for a little time I'm trying different approach there. Instead, I'm using Interdimensional Assault. It gives 50% monster density, but breaches open and close faster. Please keep in mind, for that node, you will need to clear your breach very good, very fast and very effective, because it's going to open and close faster, and you will need to be able to kill as much monsters as possible in that short period of time. If you feel like you don't have enough damage or you don't have enough clear, you should just drop Interdimensional Assault and pick Crumbling Walls instead. As an option, if you feel like you just don't have enough time to clear all the breach monsters, you can also play Sustained Siege. It will give you breach in your maps open and close 30% slower instead, which is pretty nice. However, I don't really feel like it's absolutely mandatory, especially if your clear is pretty good. And Waking Nightmare, in my opinion, pretty nice too, because it's going to give you more breach splinters. But in my opinion, Waking Nightmare debuff, which gives you 10% increased damage taken and reduced lightning radius for 10 seconds, I think it's too big of the debuff for not that big of an upside. So I'm not really considering it right now. In my opinion, Crumbling Walls or Interdimensional Assault are probably the best picks. After it, let's talk about how we are going to juice breaches. So first off, you need to pick a special zone when you have as much towers as possible. So for example, here I have 1, 2, 3 towers, and even 4 towers if I will try a little more. And generally, I recommend to pick places when you haven't finished and completed so many maps. So I would say that zone is not perfect because I completed too many maps in the vicinity and it could create some problems. But I'm going to showcase what I'm doing just based on that zone. We have 4 towers there. And breach tablets are coming into play here. They're providing different bonuses, which could be pretty nice. As you can see here, I have a lot of different ones. For example, quantity of breach splinters dropped by breach monsters is a very good bonus, together with the pack size. So we are going to use that one first. you're just taking Lost Tower and using the tablet. And here they are, breaches are created, as you can see a lot of breaches around. But the most important part to juicing your breaches is stacking tablets together. Because stacking tablets together is going to help you significantly to improve your bonuses. So for example, as you can see, we have a pack size here and small bonuses for breach from that tablet. We can add more bonuses, so for example here for the Lost Tower, and when we are clicking it, our breach is receiving more bonuses. So as you can see, they are stacking together. Right now we have rarity, one clasp hand and additional pack size in exactly the same fashion. And for example here we can go and see such a cool bonus. So 7% chance to contain an additional breach is absolutely insane. We are clicking it, we are receiving more breaches, and as you can see, it's stacking more bonuses together on breaches that we already have. And it goes for the next tower as well. Stacking as many breach bonuses as possible is probably the best way to improve them. As you can see, after it I have 15% more number of rare monsters, I have clasp hand, I have pack size and rarity bonus. So perfectly having a lot of towers stacked together and buffing your breaches in that fashion gives a lot of basic profit, and it improves your whole breach potential farming significantly, because you will have a lot of bonuses. Also another important moment, if you have corrupted bonus with +1 level, you can run it together with tier 16 for example, and it's going to provide you better loot in general. However, I don't really think it's like too important, so if you just have 15s and you don't have corrupted, don't worry about it and just run your breaches. So how we are profiting from breach? That's a pretty nice question. The first and obvious part profiting from breach is catalysts. We're going to drop a lot of catalysts and mostly random ones. Unfortunately, most of the catalysts are not really cost a lot. So I still recommend to pick them, but I'm selling them only in big bulks if you receive like 30, 50, sometimes even 100. So you can just use currency exchange for it, check the prices for particular catalysts, and here they are, like all of them. You will be able to also see how many do you have if you will just close your currency exchange, pick Exalted, and here you can see all the catalysts that you have with proper numbers. So if you have like 30 or 50, I think it's time to sell. And generally I'm just selling them in a very big box. Another important part that we are making our currency from is breach splinters. Breach splinters currently have a very nice price, because those are necessary to fight the boss, which can drop Hand of Wisdom in action. And the biggest question is, do we want to sell them or do we want to fight the boss? Generally, fighting the boss is a very big gamble. I fought a few at maximum difficulty 4 and he never dropped gloves to me, so right now I would say it could be kinda random. But gloves cost a lot, and if you will drop them, it could be a very nice profit. Generally, I recommend to sell breach splinters instead. If you have a full breachstone, you can get a pretty nice amount of currency for it. Right now it's around 1.5 divines, and you can farm them pretty fast, so like in 10 maps you can already have one. But another part of the profit that we are getting here is breach rings. I think breach rings and their crafts is a very important part of profiting from breach in general. I have a few breach rings that I'm currently selling for a few divines or tens of exalted, and those are selling pretty fast and without a lot of issues. So if you have a very good ring and you just drop it, you can use essences or just click it randomly, and sometimes something good comes of it. However, if your breach ring is not working, for example you crafted it and you're unhappy with what you can see, please remember that you can go to Reforging bench, you can add 3 rings and reforge them for the random ring. You can check it, well it's not a good one, you can keep it, and after that you can reforge again and again. I think reforging breach rings and constantly receiving them is a huge chunk of the profit right here. So that's pretty important. We have catalysts, we have breach splinters, and on top of it we also have breach rings. Another important part is that breach by itself provides a lot of rare monsters, so a lot of rare monsters are going to spawn out of it, and all of those monsters will drop currency for you. So if, for example, you're stuck in rarity, you will be able to receive exalts pretty often and even divine sometimes. But even if you are not stuck in rarity, since you're killing rares with bonuses, you're going to receive a lot of loot from them. Another important part here, I think Breach stacking very nice with Deadly Evolution, because rare and unique monsters in your maps will have additional modifiers. That way, Breach monsters will have modifiers as well. And I definitely recommend to play Deadly Evolution for Breach, because that way rares from Breach is going to drop more and it's going to be significantly more efficient. So don't forget your Breach rings, use your catalyst, and I still recommend Silent Breach Splinters right now. The main idea is that Breach helps with making your maps more dense, so more monsters, more loot, and in general it's a very good tactic how to get more currency. I would say that prices for Breach right now is going slightly down because it's pretty popular to farm and a lot of people are juicing it, but it's still viable and I think it will stay viable for a pretty nice amount of time. Hope you will be able to make some divine visit as well. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time. ronarray out.